We want to talk about Anthropic for a second because since its founding, it's really positioned itself as a responsible AI company. But it has a contract with the U.S. Defense Department, and they've been at odds over the use of some of Anthropic's tools to surveil citizens and, more importantly, to deploy weapons abroad without human intervention. Apparently, that's come to a head with President Trump just moments ago directing U.S. agencies to immediately cease the use of Anthropic's technology. Joining us right now to talk about this is Alondra Nelson. She's at the Institute for Advanced Study and a member of the UN Advisory Board on AI. She also, during the Biden administration, helped to draft some guardrails as to exactly how these AI tools could be used in a private and public setting, rules that we should point out the new administration pretty much tore up the second it got in the door. Alondra, great to have you here. When you look at the—
Good to see you, Ramin.
When you look at the fight, at least based on what we know publicly about this fight between Anthropic and the Defense Department, can you give me a sense here as to whether there can be some coexistence of a responsible AI company, I put that in quotation marks, and a Defense Department who, let's face it, is in the business of killing people?
Well, I mean, listen, Anthropic, which is a splinter group, right, is a splinter organization that broke off from OpenAI because they had concerns about safety and about some of these guardrails. That's their brand. That's the market that they're trying to live in, exist in. As I understand from the reporting, they basically said to the Department of Defense, you can do pretty much anything you want, but except for these two things. Autonomous weapons and mass surveillance of American society. So, those seem to me like quite reasonable red lines for a company. And in most instances, in fact, until fairly recently, we've allowed companies to set the terms, like, this is our product, this is what we're selling to you, and you can buy the product or not buy the product. So President Trump has just said that we don't want to buy the product. But I think what's very interesting about the debate here is that the tool is actually very good, clearly, because we wouldn't be having this conversation at all. If it was a product that didn't have merit, that wasn't being, used powerfully. We know that Claude's being used a lot in the enterprise space, that chatbot, and also that there's, that it's probably a bit more reliable because they've thought about these guardrails.
Right.
If all of that wasn't true, I think we wouldn't even be having this fight. If it was a mediocre tool, we would not be having this conversation. So, I think the fate of Anthropic, I think, remains to be seen. But because their play in the market had really been more of an enterprise play, and
Right.
also in the last few months, part of what you were just reporting on with regards to, falling prices for software stocks are a direct response to the success of Claude Code. So I don't think Anthropic is going anywhere. And, the brief reporting I've seen suggests that there was going to be a 6-month off-ramp for federal agencies not using these tools. And lots of things can happen in 6 months, as you know, Romaine.